Hey guys, it's Nate here. Welcome back to Saints Row 4. In the last episode, I took Zinniac's head off. My controller's not working. I took Zinniac's head off and completed the game. Only that much? I'm kidding. So, Iron Saint. Oh, I can just phone message now. Control the time of day. Thank you. Yes! That's why I wanted to... Oh, what's this?
When the novelty of shaping history wore off, the Saints remembered the words of Zinniac.
Is this all of them?
It's hard to say, Your Excellency. Zinniac was a long-time collector.
And that, my friends, is how I first met the Saints.
Jane Austen. Why didn't I see that coming? Imperator. Why didn't I see that coming? Oh jeez, got a lot of stuff. I came, I saw, I conquered. Congratulations, you defeated Zinniac and taken control of the Empire. The Steelport simulation is still available to complete activities, side quests, and you didn't let me finish it, god dang. I'll just look at it when I render it. Alright, so... now what? Hi, Shondi. How do I change the time of day? Okay, which computer? Wait, what? Send my simulation. Where do I do this? When I change tonight, then what? Where's the computer? I'm checking every computer in here. Kenzie, you must know.
Look, I'm really busy here.
Fine. This computer. God, this is the only computer we can actually use. Oh my god. Vengeance, Raid, Reunited, Empowered, Free, Nightmare, Noir, Classic, Vintage, Modern, Infrared. I don't know which one. Let's do... Free. Alright. So, I made this video because I still have some collectibles to, get. Oh, I don't have any missions. Okay, I'll just start here, because I know there's like two right there. Alright. Ah. Cool. Alright. Let's go find some text-based adventures. What? The game scared me so much. It said 0 challenges completed. Mech suit duration. Slight the amount of time you can spend in mech suit. Oh, we have to buy these. Slightly decrease the cost of hovering while in the mech suit. Remove some security protocols, allow the mech suit's weapons to recharge faster. Oh, what do you know? More. Overclock, okay. So need more of that. Oh, 80,000, what do you know? That's from targets. Alright. Duration. Over cost. Overclock. How much is that? Fine. Well, this is fun. Alright, now another two under the bridge right here. Yeah, one's right there. Let's go to it. I decided to record them because, you know, what the heck. And also, if I pick the wrong one, then y'all get to have a laugh about it. Where is it? On the top shelf, huh? I didn't even do anything. All I did was jump. Yep, there it is. Oh, what? I thought I was gonna do a text-based adventure. I thought I was gonna do text adventure. The game played me. Okay, I think maybe I have to go and collect all of them first, and then we do the text adventure on the ship. I was about to say, that is some bull. Is that it right there? I was about to say, that is some bull. Alright. I got so mad for a second. I'm all ready to go and play a bunch of games on a computer to explore the origin of everyone's favorite alien, but no. I almost landed straight on that. I was literally 2 steps away. Okay, so we gotta go and collect them. I'm not gonna end the video, I'm gonna keep going. Might as well do the epic jump quest to get over there. Even though I already did it. Still, if this is our way into a simulation, why can't we get our cribs back? I'm just saying. Okay, no, it's crazy epic jump quest. Doing this instead.
Who's got next?
I didn't expect to be a nuke actually. I didn't expect a nuke actually. Move back my way. I'm gonna go rim job after this is done so I can customize my cars. I have like every car in the game in Saints Row the Third. And oh wait, also, okay, so there's a few things I want to do in this video. One, go get the text adventures and then go through them. 2, oh jeez, forgot to do my second thing already. Hang on a second. Let me think. Probably get. I want to upgrade all my weapons and stuff, but that wasn't it. Okay, so 2 things that I know what I actually want to do. 1, find all the text adventures and stuff. You can be in here. Nice. Nothing like trash in the casino, huh? Okay, so after we do that, we're gonna go rob a store. Cause you know, why not? I have the perfect store in mind. I could have sworn it was gonna be in there. Oh jeez. When parts of the sounds are missing like that, then I always save it because my game's been freezing a lot. When I wasn't recording, my game was freezing all the time. Really? Okay, next one. I wish we could go back and do the missions, especially do Zinyax. When I saw the achievement for Saints and Sensibility, I thought there was, when it said rule the universe with terrible majesty, I thought that was like the bad ending where you like kill all your homies or something in the simulation, like betray them or something. I thought that was like a bad ending, but then I saw that, I realized when I actually paid attention to what the achievement said, I figured out that it actually meant, you know, finish all the homie missions before you do the last mission. So that was when I realized I have no brain. If it was that easy for me to read that they don't have a choice ending in Saints Row 4, I don't know why I didn't see that before. Where is it? Is it right there? Yeah, that's it. Right on it.
I still have it.
Nice. No reason to nuke the city, but I just did. So I technically finished this game in less than 24 hours. Minus all the other stuff. 100%. So I'm gonna buy all the clothes too, actually. So the next one's in New Colvin. Let's find the one Sierra Point Bridge. It's already taken like 14 minutes for me to travel around the city. I thought when we found these, they were gonna be like, we were gonna do like, I thought they were gonna be like now. They're 8 text adventures and stuff. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. Awesome. Alright. Now the other two. Next one's close. I thought it was gonna be like night and day, but I didn't know there was so many choices. Just the guy in the back
That's
there.
right.
He's dead. Alright, now the last one. It's in the airport, right? Yep. I didn't get them when I wasn't recording because I thought they were things that we would do right now. Ow! I thought they were things that we were gonna do like right now. I'm surprised to take out the full invincibility cheat, but it's probably because people got mad and when they're playing Saints Row 3 because they couldn't kill their friend in co-op, so they decided to take that out. Like, but really, they didn't have to take it out. You know, being invincible is still fun, but like when you're playing co-op, you can take it off. Put friendly fire. In co-op, it will immediately strip you of the invincible part, and then you and your friend could just go at it. Alright. Save it. And now we go to the nearest, whatever it is, gateway. Right to our left. I forgot this is one in the middle of the street. This is probably gonna be a long, because there's 8 of them. My youth. Our story begins in the remote village of Zinshire, a hamlet just west of Zinport in the country of Zinland, on a planet known only as Zin. By nature, the Zin people are an uncultured and slow-witted lot, easily entertained by such diversions as arm wrestling and counting the spots on one's back. The people of Zinshire most especially fit the description, so I'm sure you can already foresee the struggles I endured in life. The first of these struggles were my parents. My father, a simple butcher, was a small man with a fierce temper. Of all the things I learned from my father, the one that sticks with me the most has to be proper way to butcher a Zin pig, a thirst for knowledge, a lust for power. Oh, good. My father, though, as thick as the back hair on a newly born Zinfant, did indeed have an unquenchable hunger for control. While he never managed to rise higher than the head of a simple village council, he nonetheless carried the dream. My mother, on the other hand, a gifted seamstress who married for far below her station, wanted me to enjoy the things so many others could not. I remember clearly on the eve of my 13th birthday her taking me to traveling Zinspear Company's Les Danses Romantiques, Zinkar's pastry shop, a camp for rowdy children. Pretty sure it's Zinspear. Please. As if a traveling company of such renown would step foot in a hovel such as Zinshire. Well, he's a fan of Shakespeare. Thank you. One might think a place such as Zinshire would not support a fine bakery, and you would be right. It closed after a year, but it was not for lack of trying on my mother's part. She wished for her only child to have an appreciation for the finer offerings of life, and she began my education with Zinkar's delectable pastries. Not only did I sample the goods at Zinkar's shop, but I spent a summer there, sweeping the floor, tending the counter, and even learning a bit of the culinary arts. I took to baking with zeal. Clients enjoyed my baked goods, and I became known throughout Zinshire for my cream puffs, fresh fruit tarts, ganche-drenched eclairs. Dang it! I remember what it said. While my eclairs were amongst the best ever created, I was actually known for something else. Cream puffs. Huh. I can still feel the layers of crisp dough flaking gently on my tongue awash a smooth release of sumptuous cream. Is that a euphemism? Even though Zinkar's endeavor was not long for this world, I continued to sell my renowned cream puffs door to door, a business which thrived, I must say, doing well enough to supplement my admission to the most prestigious private school in Zinland. But that, my friend, is another story. Okay, the written word. I had acquired the money to attend the finest school in Zinland, but that was just the beginning. While I would love to say Zinkov Preparatory Academy embraced me with open arms, the truth of the matter is, I was not the finest student. In order to gain admission, I had to endure rigorous physical and academic testing for they would grant me access to the legendary halls of learning. As is usual for admission to a school of such acclaim, the first of these tests was killing my own parents, trying out for a sport, a scholastic aptitude exam. I'm pretty sure it's the aptitude exam, but my word, what sort of barbaric school did you attend? Your mother's. Trying out for a sport. I knew it wasn't the answer. While participation in competitive sports is encouraged and a good source of income for any situation of higher learning, testing for such a thing was not required. Told you. As was my mother's wish, Zinka Prep was an institution that prided itself on scholastic offerings. To that end, it only accepted candidates that displayed academic prowess and further promise. So it was that I endured many weeks of standardized testing and training prior to my entrance examination. I am proud to say that I took to the studies well and managed to bring up my scores across the board. Still, there was one subject above all that I had a particular affinity for. As you may have already guessed, the subject was literature. The written word. I didn't mean to say that. I had, like most Zin, learned to read while in Utero, but that was all very dry text such as manuals and design documents. It wasn't until this far more serious pursuit into academia, is that a word, that I came to love the classics. How surprised was I that some of the finest literature in the universe came from a tiny watery planet from then 10 million light years away. While it would be some time until I visited that seemingly unremarkable way station, I had fallen in love with its artistic offerings already. One author's work in particular captured my imagination. Can you guess the scribe responsible? Mark Twain, Jane Austen, Dr. Seuss, Charles Dickens. Dr. Seuss writes chosen books. If it's this, dang it. The good doctor's work is among the finest of literature, there's no doubting that, but I'd not get lost amongst his colorful characters and impeccable rhyming structure as much as others. Dang it. Dang it. If I wanted to read about deceitful children, time-traveling charlatans, and overburdened bullfrogs, I suppose Twain would be the one, but no. I should have known. Jane, sweet, sweet Jane. How like my mother's dreams you are. Even now, all these years later, just the thought of Emma, Eleanor, and Elizabeth's exploits and romantic missteps brings a lump to my throat. Oh, the intoxicating back and forth between Miss Bennet and Mr. Darcy. How I could read those lines toward infinity. It was my celebrated essay on Jane Austen's body of work that caught the attention of the Zinkov Admissions Board, who not only allowed me entry into their fine institution, but secured my later position as head of the English Language Appreciators Society. Thus was my love of literature cemented in access to Zinka Preparatory Academy assured, which is where I met the teacher who would help me find my life's true purpose. Though that's another tale. On to the next one. Zinkov Prep. I clearly recall my first tentative steps into Zinka Preparatory Academy. I was a lad from the countryside coming into the big city, eyes wide and mind eager. I had never seen a building so large or so many finely dressed young people yearning for knowledge. It was the first time in my life I ever felt I was somewhere I truly belonged. Of course, not all of the Zinlings there were courteous, studious-minded folk. Predictably, it wasn't long before I crossed paths with a brutish young man named Zinfax. We instantly loathed each other. It was obvious from the start that Zinfax took umbrage with my coat of many colors, lower class upbringing, prominent cranial crown. Oh, typical, no? I was now entering the proud and prejudice-filled society I had read about so eagerly just a few months prior. While Zinfax was a bore and a constant thorn on my side, I found solace in my studies. Literature had engaged me early on, but I'm speaking weird. The offerings of Zinka Prep allowed me to expand into even higher-minded subjects, such as intergalactic warfare and how to exploit diplomacy for personal gain. What a world of knowledge there was to explore. That's how you blew up Earth, huh? More than any Zinkov faculty, Professor Zinlau informed my later days. I remember clearly it was just 2 weeks into my first year. when Zinlao pulled me aside after class and said to me, Zinyak, you're a natural-born leader. Zinyak, these people are all your inferiors. Zinyak, without a space, comma without a space, never let anything or anyone stop you from pursuing your dreams. Ah, has anyone ever told you that before? What a remarkable thing to say to a formative lad. And he was right. As a poor son of an ignorant butcher had made it the finest university on the planet, I wasn't just pursuing my dreams, I was living one. Those words kept me strong through 4 years of demanding study, kept my mind clear from physical distraction, and are to thank for my graduating with honors from Zinkov Preparatory, a first for anyone from the hamlet of Zinshire. Upon receiving my diploma, I knew exactly what I must do. Kill Zinfax. Rather short-sighted, don't you think? Enter military service. Kill Zinfax and enter military service. I didn't expect that to be the answer. Order of operation, don't you know? Yes, I admit, I let my personal dislike for that heinous bully overcome me, and I snapped Zinfax's little neck like old bark flaking off a dying oak. Okay. Nice and, it's a nice and, vivid metaphor. My time at Zinkov Preparatory now at an end. I entered yet another phase of my life, one that would take me to a great many exotic locations and allow me to realize finally my true potential. Thus ends my years as a plucky child. Next we meet, I shall regale you with the tale of Zinyak, the young man. Military, the early years. After my time at Zinkov Preparatory Academy, I did what all young people on Zin must do. I entered the military. Prior to my days at Zinkov, I admit I did not look forward to this rite of passage, but after, I relished the idea of honing myself into the specimen I would later become. Basic training was, as it's designed to be, a particular sort of hell. I don't know what the rules are where you come from, reader, but military training for the Zin Army consists of a grueling 8-week course that pushes recruits to their breaking point. Some did not survive the training and were sent off to work in the mines or forced to join the Zin National Orchestra, famous across 7 galaxies for how hideous the music is. In order to endure the training, I often relied upon thoughts of my childhood and more innocent time in my life, my iron will and drive to do whatever I must to excel, a manufactured hatred of the enemy. Are you daft? We covered this in the very first chapter. It wasn't innocent. Relied is perhaps a bit strong. I certainly possessed an iron will, but relied on it. A manufactured hatred of the enemy. A wise man once said, without a target, we are all just bullets in the wind. I wrote that in my journal last week, and it's true. Whenever you find yourself facing a seemingly insurmountable challenge, it helps to envision all the turncoats, opportunists, and megalomaniacs that are just waiting for you to fail so they can swoop down and pick the meat from your bones. These are nice metaphors. Yay. With a furnace of pure hatred burning inside me, nothing would stop me from overtaking any challenge set before me. It was evident in the latter days of my training that I was going to excel at conquering worlds. It was evident even then that I had conqueror's blood coursing through my veins. I took to every task with gusto, never accepting anything but the best for myself and all those around me. I had visions, I had drive, I had everything needed to seize the universe by the nebulas and make it mine. It sounds like he said grab the universe by the balls. After basic, I entered the service and was sent to the front line of the Great War that was brewing on planet Bedard. There I led the charge against the great Bedardian commander Franz Scott. Using my innately keen sight, I surprised Franz Scott by murdering his soldiers and putting their heads on pikes. That's a lot to do. Sneaking into his base under the cover of darkness, playing selections from the Zin National Orchestra at high volume. I knew it wasn't that one. My controller almost dropped from my lap. Sneaking into his base under the cover... I read that already. While it may sound like a simple tactic, you should be aware that the average day on planet Bedard lasts an excruciatingly long time. But I and my charge held our position until the perfect moment to strike. We infiltrated Franz Scott's compound, trampled his men under our mighty boots, and shattered the door to his bedchamber, wherein I pounced upon the fool and smothered him with his own pillow. Jeez. Even now, looking back, I can't help but smile, because he likes to kill people. From there, I led the charge after numerous enemies of the Zin Empire, Soon the entire Bedarian army fell before us, and we had yet another notch on our already impressive carved belts. To be continued. Rise to power. A magnificent victory under my belt, my military superiors saw fit to bestow upon me a meritorious service in the glory of the almighty Zin commendation, and my... Dang it! I forgot to read that. And my first of many promotions. Okay. Recognition breeds contempt through, and I made many enemies throughout my military career, but perhaps none more scathing, more heartbreaking than Zinfob. The Brutus to my Caesar, Zinfob served with me well against the Bedardian army, but his pride got the best of me when he questioned my authority in front of the troops, questioned my character, questioned my readiness to command. Citing my unquenchable bloodlust, cold and calculating demeanor, lack of conscience, all the things that were held in such high regard during training, Zinfob dared to suggest that I was unfit for the high-level command. I was brought before my superiors in a mock tribunal, held simply to satiate Zinfob's whim. I assure you, where I was called upon to defend myself against these allegations. Complying with these tenets of the charade, I took my seat as defendant. As clear as the strained cries of a fallen foe, the charges were leveled against me. Against each one, I railed against my accuser, explained myself in a clear, conscious manner, remained silent. Admittedly, I may have used some coarse language as emphasis to underline my points, but I conducted myself as one ought during any legal proceeding. After carefully explaining myself to the council, they saw my point of view and dismissed Zinfob's case against me. Oh, that's good. Afterwards, I hunted my accuser down and killed him where he stood. That nastiness behind me, I not only continued to fulfill my role with the Zin army, but I excelled at it. After many more successful terrestrial campaigns... Those Native Americans outside my... I swear I heard... Okay, what is that? I hear yelling and other... Okay. Afterwards, I had that nastiness behind me. After many more successful terrestrial campaigns against our foes, the officials saw fit to give me my own ship, erect statues in my honor, promote me to emperor. One does not simply get promoted to emperor. Indeed, no longer was I a simple passenger on our interplanetary death vessels. I now had my hand firm upon the rudder. Metaphorically speaking, of course, interplanetary death vessels are steered by complicated navigation systems. Now a celebrated member of the Zin army with a seasoned crew at my command, I blew up planet Zin and levered the back, threw a galley in my honor, and headed out toward adventure. It was time to leave terra firma behind me and venture toward the stars. After forcibly convincing my crew to celebrate my newly appointed position with a soiree in my honor, we lifted anchor and spread our sails, again metaphorically speaking, towards destinations just right for the picking. And that, dear reader, is where my tale gets most exciting. Ad Astra per Aspera. Like a siren calling ships to the rocks, the velvety expanse of space has been a harsh mistress to many. To me, the unconquered reaches were a challenge I not only accepted but yearned for. So many poor souls, blithely unaware of unaware of how mediocre their existences were, without a firm hand to guide them toward greatness. Oh, how I longed to be that hand. I am not a soul easily satisfied, so I knew my dream destination must be a planet that would challenge not the collective might of the Zin army, but my own fragile ego, my political acumen, my tactical instinct. The terrestrial victories I had accumulated in my prior campaigns often failed to adequately test my keen tactical instinct. The maneuvers and strategies employed by so many of my foes were woefully pedestrian on their best days. I knew somewhere in the celestial womb a leader must exist who could properly challenge me. How fortunate I was that I only had to eradicate 12 civilizations before coming toe-to-toe with the talented and well-trained forces of the Jet Yang theocracy, I don't know. Despite what you may have heard about the people of the Jet Yang Quadrant, I don't know. I assure you they were ahead of the rest of their martial prowess. Perhaps most impressively, the Jet Yang had mastered biomechanical fighting mechanics, the art of diplomacy, planetary shield technology. By harnessing the geothermal energy of Jet Yang's molten core, the theocracy were able to power a Dyson sphere-like shield around their entire planet. It sparkled in the sun like a chorus line of stars, pirouetting in the sheerest glimmer of light. Zinyak's a nerd. The way it shattered in the wake of our neutronic lasers was simply breathtaking. Is he getting off from blowing up a planet? Upon our arrival on their planet's surface, the head of the theocracy, an imposing figure named Bishop Quirkazug, pleaded for not only his own life, but the lives of his people. Always a fair man, I agreed to meet him on a level field battle. Mano a mano as true gentlemen. What is my cat doing? I even let him select the contest. Much to my surprise, he chose arm wrestling. Gotta get the other parts of the story, I guess. And I thought I had left such uncultured diversions back on Zin. I learned then that this so-called sport had reached a far wider audience than I had hoped. Yes, Quirkzug chose to challenge me at arm wrestling. How foresighted so advanced technology, thought I, could they be so taken with grasping hands and pushing? Little did I know that the cephalopodian anatomy of the Jet Yang, combined with the curved surfaces that pass as tables, allowed them great leverage at the sport. Oh ho, how clever Quirkzug was, luring me into a trap that played upon my own prejudices. Well done indeed. As it turns out, the winner of the match was Quirkzug. Yes, Quirkzug used his anatomical advantage to best me at that infantile test of strength. After shooting him through his enormous eye, I congratulated his corpse on a job well done. Oh, Zinyak. Giving the Jet Yang people no quarter, we made hasty work of their pathetic planet, and to this day I keep Quirkzug's desiccated tongue in my pocket. Ew. I rub it for luck. It's not a rabbit's foot. I thought I wasn't aware of it prior. The Jet Yang homeworld was a rich source of gemstones and minerals in rare reserve on other planets. With resources and high demand at our disposal, I was able to fund many more conquests throughout the riches of space. A fascinating story that I will tell you soon. The Great Zin Expansion. As you indubitably are already aware, the Great Jet Yang victory was just the beginning of my storied career in the Zin army. I still had numerous conquests awaiting me, including my first venture out toward a place with the native scholars once called Via Lactea. Possessing astute foresight as I do, coupled with my at times all-consuming need for control, I knew that before I set out to do anything more, I must find a second in command. Even I cannot be... Oh wait, Okay, acquire more ships, get some decent food on board. Do you honestly think that I would have traveled all the way to Jet Yang Quadrant without bringing the finest chefs in the universe with me? Alright, even I cannot be everywhere at once. I knew in order to keep my crew appropriately subordinate, while still being able to have some essential me time, that I had to have someone I could trust implicitly to oversee the orders I gave. Someone who could be my eyes and ears and also tend to my every whim without question. It was a plucky young soldier named Zinjai who stood cranial crown and shoulders above the rest, my manservant. I knew he would make a fine lieutenant, but as is customary to prove one's successor's worth, I first administered a scholastic aptitude test. Oh, callback, yes, quite humorous of you. Ritual beatings, a quiz to determine his understanding of basic etiquette. I was not about to appoint someone as my military surrogate and manservant who was unable to appreciate propriety and tradition. I knew that if anyone were to even attempt to fill my proverbial boots, that they had to be able to do so in any conceivable situation. So it was I constructed a battery of examinations designed to test his etiquette across all manner of occasion. Jeez, they really were brilliant if I do say so myself. I am proud to state that Zinjai passed every test in spectacular fashion, though. We did almost have an incident when we were attacked prior to the dinner course of a fine meal. Zinjai's brother died during examination proper cross-cultural greetings. A rabid Zin pig got loose upon a ship during a rousing debate on intergalactic politicking. What? Okay, the most realistic one. That's not ridiculous. We were attacked. Okay. In what was a regrettable lapse in judgment on the part of famed Boonian tactician Ariel the Furious, the Armada attacked us in mid-space during the most important segment of Zenjai's testing. After destroying the Boon fleet ship and flaying all the crew members, I beheaded Ariel the Furious with a bread knife and threw his remains into the onboard incinerator. Of course. Zinjai and I then went on to enjoy a most lovely meal full of fresh Boon steaks and a delightful conversation. It's not his body, is it? His testing over, I formally named Zinjai as my lieutenant/servant, and we continued our trek into deep space. Per my grand plan, I set about culling the universe of its weakest cultures first, starting with the Kajurtnifur tribes of Central Alspazia, the Goetz Brea Alliance, people of Earth. Do you really count Earth as one of the weakest cultures in the universe? Oh, I didn't know it was that, sorry. You really should think of yourself higher. Calm yourself. Okay, I didn't know that's what it said. I thought he was going to the next, I thought that was like his next place. I did not mean to offend America just now. The people of Earth, sorry. The Kajurtnifur tribes have been a blight on Central Alspazia since time immemorial. Really, I was doing everyone a favor by raising those heathens to the ground. But did the unified nations of Central Alspazia show me any gratitude at all? Of course not. Monster, they cried. Psychopath. Nothing short of now planet-wide genocide was going to shut them up, which thankfully it did. From there, I continued on my path, conquering every planet that stood in my path. Yet, despite the sense of unparalleled accomplishment, I felt something was lacking. It was not until later that I would stumble upon my greatest achievement, my defining moment. My defining moment. Yes, I held the keys to the universe in my grasp, yet something was missing. These victories, numerous though they were, felt hollow. I found myself wanting more, needing more. What could I possibly be missing? I had everything. Civilizations trembled when I announced my presence. My own army lived in fear of my wrath. What could I possibly be lacking? Then, like an evolutionary link crawling from the depths of a primordial soup, it hit me. I had taken so many lives for what purpose? Conquering was not enough. I needed to test them, to challenge them, to collect them. It was then I decided to build the simulation. You had to know that. A museum dedicated to the greatest cultures of the universe, petting zoo. Let's do the less obvious ones. In its own way, I suppose it is, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. I considered it, but ultimately opted for something else. Why would that even be a consideration? I could not trust those who fell before my might to roam around unsupervised in the real world, but a virtual one. That was another matter entirely. It came to me as a vision, a vast interconnected web of simulated worlds, designed not only to contain the best and brightest in the universe, but to break their wills and make them subservient to me, Zinyak, Galactic Overlord, and Head Emperor Supreme of the Zin Empire. Oh, did I forget to mention I killed my predecessor and claimed his throne for my own? My apologies for the oversight. I tasked Zinjai with overseeing the simulation's construction. We would hold the physical bodies of my fallen foes in a nutrient-rich suspension, designed to accommodate even the most peculiar metabolisms. Meanwhile, their minds would go on in a world of my own creation, based on each subject's deepest fear, favorite food, fondest child memory. How would a comforting reminiscence break their will exactly? Hey, I'm doing the less obvious ones first. I do wish you were taking this more seriously. Shut up. Deepest fear. Well, I know that. Yes, everybody aside from your humble narrator is afraid of something. Familial loss, a straying loved one, animosity, spiders, and by subjecting each victim to their deepest fear, to replay their most dreaded moment over and over and over again, until their psyche shatters and their minds become malleable, putty in my eager fingers, I can control them. I can control everyone. What was my most tragic moment? Could have put me in like Saints Row 2 and put me with Carlos or something. Not put me in a 1950s sitcom. Once the simulation was completed, all I needed to do was start hooking up victims, throw a party, find a test subject, throw a party. What's that idiom about counting chickens? Shut up. And who better to test the simulation upon than my right-hand man? Zinjai was not eager to partake in the simulation, but after a brief, though intensely painful discussion, he saw the benefits of the architect being the first to walk into his own building. For hours I heard Zinjai's screams echo throughout the ship, like the mellifluous song of a child in mourning, and I knew that then the simulation was my raison d'etre. It would set the standard for forward-thinking empires throughout the universe, and if any should ever match its brilliance, I will crush them and claim their design for my own. After extracting Zinjai from his personal nightmare, he gave his most wholehearted approval. When I asked what his version of hell was, he said, "A life without me, a life with only me, a life spent cleaning the lavatories of the Zin mothership." That was right. To be honest, Zinjai didn't tell me what his deepest fear was, and I didn't press the matter, for I had other things to do. The simulation of my crown jewel I took to universal conquering with renewed zeal. I found a pleasure in forced subjugation of sentient life forms I never thought I'd have again. My enemies didn't simply fall by my sword, their wills were snapped like the bones of a mouthy subordinate. I no longer had only the echoes of their dying words to remember them by. I had a whole world of twisted imagery and deep-rooted doubts and phobias. Oh joy, oh cascading bliss. And I could visit them whenever I wanted. I had complete control. I held their brittle consciousnesses in my head and could play with them like flicking seeds into the wind. The simulation was not perfect. Nothing is. Even the masterwork Venus de Milo is short a couple of appendages, but it was mine, and it was beautiful. For those who tested my patience by attempting to escape, I had protocols in place. When needed, I intervened personally, though it was rarely necessary. Many of the subjects thought they were exceptions to the simulation's rule, but I put every one of them summarily back into place. So it was I went about collecting the exemplary specimens from cultures throughout the entirety of the known world. I can't read today. With one exception, a certain destination whose exploitation I wish to savor. A place whose artistic contributions set me upon my path. There was someone there I would especially wish to meet, and with the time, bending capability of the mothership, I could. But also I knew any planet capable of literary work of that caliber must also breed warriors unlike any other. I was excited, reader. Every part of my essence shivered with anticipation. With the might of the Zin Empire behind me, I set out toward the far corner of the universe, toward a new galaxy, to conquer a planet I had only enjoyed through its culture, Earth, the life in the end. That took a lot longer than I thought. I can't, what you call it? See, King's eyes are open now. It took a lot longer than I thought, though. So, we're gonna have to wrap the story in the next episode. So, just go back in first. Wait, actually, let's change the day first. Howard. Do that. I going? Where am I going? Oh, over here. Alright, so we're gonna wrap this for the next episode because it took a lot longer than I thought. Minus 15 minutes it took me to get that. It took me 37 minutes just to read a bunch of stuff. Because of my horrible reading skills. Anyway. Oh jeez. Which one did I pick? The dumb looking powered. Alright. Am I going the right way? Yeah. So, we're gonna wrap this in the next episode, guys. So, like the video if you enjoyed this text adventure episode. Favorite it if you really enjoyed it. Subscribe for more from Gamers on Diesel Mode. And we'll see you in the next episode. Go shows.